Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming out tonight to our first Candidates Forum. For those of you that don't know, we are having 2 candidate forums this year, tonight and then this Saturday, February 8th at 10 a.m. in the same ballroom. So we look forward to having people out and asking our candidates questions. Did everybody get an agenda when they came in? Yep. I'm not going to rehash the layout for the night. It's all there on your agenda. We're going to try to stick to the timeline. I have a feeling we may get done early tonight. Very rarely has it been an hour and 45 minutes. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce your 2 moderators for tonight. We have Marcy Renaud, Vice President of Westbrook Village Board of Directors, and Bruce Garrison, Westbrook Village Board of Director. From your left, Amy Miller, current Board of Director, Joe Bernier, Steve Merkovich, current Board Treasurer, and Bob Carnero, current Board Member. And without further ado, I'm going to turn the microphone over to Marcy and Bruce.
Good evening. All right, so good evening, everyone. This evening, the purpose is for you to learn about the candidates that are up on the stage. The audience will be here to listen and to make their own judgments based on what is being answered up there. We ask that everybody respect everybody in the room today. Bruce and I will do our best to ask your questions. We are weeding through them right now. It is not our intent to ask repeat questions, all right? So if we do not necessarily ask it in the same form that you wrote it, but in essence the answer is going to be the same, we're doing our best to make sure that we do that. We're also feeding through to make sure that the questions are appropriate questions to be asked of the candidates. So, as Karen noted, it is being recorded so that everybody will have an opportunity to view it again. And to remember that your voice in this matter is your vote. All right? So, the candidates will make their 2-minute opening presentations. They'll be notified when there's about 30 seconds left. We will then open it up that Bruce and I will be asking the questions from the homeowners, and then the candidates will each have an opportunity to answer those questions and have up to a minute. And then they will have their 2-minute closing statements. Prior to tonight, well, prior to just now, about 6:45, they each picked a number for their position. So we will start this evening with Amy Miller and her 2-minute opening.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Is this on? I am speaking right into it. It's on? Okay. Don't start me yet, please. It's on? Okay. Good evening. Thank you for caring enough about our community to spend the evening with the candidates. A brief synopsis of my background is that I moved to Westbrook in 2006 after selling a successful company that I'd started. I have 2 sons and 5 grandkids that live close by and was recently widowed. My formal education is in art and design, as you might have guessed by projects that I have championed around the community. However, owning my own company and a 51-year marriage to an accountant were actually the most valuable tools that have contributed to my skills. You probably know me better than you think. I designed the Botanical Clock, the Reflection Garden, Westbrook Commons, the 83rd Avenue and Village Parkway entrance, and wrote and acquired $62,000 in grants, and recently researched and prodded our financial team to snag a $250,000 employee retention credit check. My abilities translate well into community management. I look forward to our future with much enthusiasm. The other 2 incumbent candidates and I have started a community-wide block watch safety campaign with the Peoria Police. We will be conducting organizational meetings with all 42 neighborhoods. I'm dedicated to maintaining Westbrook Village as a highly desirable community for adults who are seeking superior value in active lifestyle living. I vow to always serve homeowners with respect and dignity, to work for all homeowners in Westbrook, to prioritize overall community preferences over my own personal interests and those of the special interest groups. Thank you.
All right, Joe.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Joe Bernier. I pronounce it Bernier. The French is Bernier. Both are correct. I raised my family just north of Beardsley here in Hunters Ridge. All my kids all 4 kids went to Sunrise Mountain High School. At the end of this month, I will have 6 grandkids. All but one does live close. You might be asking, why vote for the newbie in the room? I have no club affiliations, no special interests, and I'm here, frankly, because I want to promote the community. I think we're headed on a road of a little disconnect right now, and the community should come first. The board members should work for the community, and I vow that every decision I will make with the board will be first researched by me personally, in talking with the clubs that are affected, the residents that are affected by those decisions. And I want to reinstill the proper protocols in the community that should be that the board represents the community, the managers of the community, the HOA, work for the board. I'll bring a spirit of teamwork and unity and no adversarial conflicts will be tolerated. I really look forward to serving the community, to serving you, and I hope you give me the opportunity to do that. Thank you.
Steve, when you're ready.
Thank you all for coming. My wife and I, Lois, moved here in 2006 after she retired and I changed employers. We have always been full-time residents and enjoy living here. I spent over 30 years in the construction industry where I was involved in the sales, marketing, and management of a large subcontractor. The last 6 years of my working career was spent working for a large construction manufacturing equipment who was based out of Ohio. I traveled 6 states, which meant you learn how to budget your time. Long before deciding to apply for a seat on the board, I began to attend board meetings as well as committee meetings to see where best my life and work experience would be the most beneficial to the community. The first committee I was chosen to work on was landscape and facilities. It was where my work experience would be the most beneficial. Since that time, I have served on almost all the committees here except ACC. It's not my strong suit, so we'll let someone else take that. Additionally, I am the chair of the LRP committee and am currently a board member. While serving on the board, the opportunity to become our treasurer arose, and I have held that position for the last year. Being the treasurer and having served on the budget committee has given me the opportunity to experience how well our staff here manages day-to-day expenditures and keeps spending as close to the budget as possible. I look forward for the opportunity to continue to serve you. Thank you.
Bob, when you're ready.
Good evening. My name is Bob Carnero. I was born and raised in the New York City area. I got married to my wife Teresa 54 years ago, and it's been great 54 years. We have 2 children, 4 grandchildren, and most recently our first great-granddaughter, which we can't wait to get to New York to see. After graduating college, I joined the Mount Vernon, New York Police Department and served for 21 years as a police officer, a detective, and a sergeant. And in my ending years as a detective sergeant, I was the administrative aide to the police commissioner and responsible for implementing and administering a $10 million police budget every year. Upon retiring from the police department, I worked as the Director of Labor Relations for the New York State Federation of Police. In that unit, I had lawyers and other labor relations specialists under me, and we represented all different associations throughout the state of New York in any type of labor relation function. I then worked for the Florence Nightingale Health Center in Manhattan as labor coordinator and director of security for 8 years. I then worked for the Archdiocese of New York in their healthcare division as their human resource manager in their 720-bed healthcare facility. Upon retiring, my wife and I moved to Sun City West, where we lived for 12 and a half years before moving to Westbrook Village in 2021. I've enjoyed moving here and living here. This is the only place that we wanted to move to because of its beauty, its safety, and its friendliness. And since I've been appointed to the board, I've enjoyed it, and I hope that you will give me the opportunity to serve further time on the board. Thank you.
Okay, so for our first question, I'm going to ask this question starting with Steve, and it's to all of you. And we will go Steve, Joe, Amy, and then down to Bob. What motivated you to run for the board of directors?
After retiring and living here for 6 years before I retired, it was a way for me to give back to the community because the beauty of this place and the location of this place, there isn't anything like it. We decided we weren't gonna probably not move away, and I decided I wanted to get involved in how this place is kept as beautiful as it is.
Thank you. Joe?
I decided to run for the board because I feel that we have many more things that we can accomplish together to make the community even better than what it is right now. I'd like to bring and promote community forums. It's hard sometimes for us that still work to make every board meeting. It's great that we can do this online now and post the meetings online. But I think a community forum that we can all engage with each other as well, and even live going out into the community and promote each other's ideas. We're in a very mature community that we all have a lot of life experience, but yet not a lot of us are tapped for our ideas. And when we come up with a problem that needs to be solved, I really think that our community together can come up with better ideas than just the 7 of us trying to solve it. So that's my main reason for running. Thank you.
I'd stand up, but it probably wouldn't make all that much difference. I ran for the board because I started by working in the rec center. And as I worked in the rec center, I saw things that I thought that I could contribute to. So that motivated me to run for the board. And that was a number of years ago. Thank you.
I'm running for the board because I've always been involved in communities I lived on. I've served in many HOA boards, starting in New York when the initial condominium that my wife and I moved into I was part of the initial board to take over, create the governing documents, and implementing them and making the place as beautiful as it was. After moving here to Arizona, in Sun City West, I served both on my sub-association, HOA, as well as president. And since I've moved over here, I am presently the president of the Lakeside Terrace Homeowners Association, and was fortunate that I now got to serve on the board of Westbrook Village, in which I continue and want to continue to serve on. Thank you.
All right, another question for all of you, and I'm going to start this time with you, Joe. Which committees are you looking to chair, and how many committees have you attended in the past year?
That's a great question. I'm not sure if I'm fit to serve on any certain committees. Once I learned about the committees, I'll be happy to volunteer my time to where I best fit that niche. I haven't served on any committees yet, and I am just at the stage in my life where I'm semi-retired from commercial construction and real estate, and now I'm a flight attendant for American Airlines, so I can really work on my schedule and allow more time to serve the community where I'm best needed.
I would like to chair the Cornerstone Committee once again. I started that committee about 5 years ago, and that is the fundraising arm of Westbrook Village. We do little extra projects to add a little bit of flair and jewelry type items to the community. I have served on or chaired pretty much every committee of Westbrook Village, and whatever one the other fellow directors give me the privilege of being on, I'll gladly do it. Thank you.
Currently on the board, I am on the Architectural Control Committee, which I enjoy very much. I also am very interested in the landscape and facilities. As in all the other HOAs that I've served in, I served on committees that handle that. I was the Buildings and Grounds Chairman over in Sun City West, and I was also the Golf Committee, which we oversaw the running of 7 golf courses over in Sun City West. I enjoy the work very much, and those are the ones that I would like to be on, that type of work. Thank you.
Steve?
As I mentioned in my presentation, I had no idea or thought about running for the board. I started going to committee meetings and board meetings here, looking for a place where I thought my skill set would benefit the community as a whole. My first attempt at getting on a committee was landscape and facilities. Mike Green was the president at the time. I mean, the chair, excuse me. But Mike was the president of the board, I believe, at the time, either he or Amy. It was a good spot for me with my life skills. It made sense. I didn't decide to run for the board until I had served on that committee for 2 years. I think it gives you, any committee you can get on before running for the board, gives you a much better idea what's going on in the community. It gives you a chance to interact with your constituents, our neighbors, friends, people you associate with, and I think that gives you a good base to run for the board.
All right, this is a question again for all of you, and Amy, we'll start with you. Are any of the candidates in the pickleball club, and if so, do you have any issues currently with the HOA?
I'm not in the pickleball club. I'm in the pottery club, and golly, I don't think I have any issues with the HOA. Sure. Sure hope not. Thank you.
Well, currently, I'm not in any club. I used to do stained glass, but because I've been so busy with other things such as the posse and all, and now on the board, I haven't been able to get there. But I would always never argue with anybody. You always have to listen, and I have no problem with compromising so that we can make this place as good as it is.
Ready?
Yep.
I was the pickleball club president for 4 years. I served 2 consecutive 2-year terms. It's a great source of social ability and a great source of exercise. Marcia, could you ask the last part of that question again?
Yes. And it says, and if so, do you have any issues currently with the HOA?
If I did, we'd move away. I'm very happy living here. My wife is very happy living here. We're not moving.
Okay.
No, I'm not part of the pickleball club or any club at this time. I do look forward to one day being a part of a couple clubs. The billiard hall really interests me. For example, I'm not sure if there's a club there or just that's the place to play. And no, I don't have any problems with the HOA.
Bob, this question will be starting with you. This is to all of you, and this is just a yes or no answer. If elected to the WVA Board of Directors, will you support implementing prayer at the monthly HOA board meetings?
Can you repeat that again? Just the end.
Really? Do you need me to repeat that?
Just the end.
If elected, we're just going to go with to the Board of Directors,
Yeah, okay.
will you support implementing prayer at the monthly HOA board meetings? And it's a yes or no answer.
Yes.
Steve?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, this question is for all of you. Do you agree that with having one board member per committee as chair and remaining committee will be residents? So that would start with you, Steve.
I believe the committees are set up accordingly. Someone on the board is the chair, and the balance of the committee may or may not be board members as long as they're residents.
I feel that the board members have a very important duty being just the board members. And I feel that the committee should be a standalone committee. So should something work its way up to the board, you'll have 7 people that are not already opinioned about a certain thing.
I think that the current policy is that standing committees are chaired by a board member, and an additional board member may also serve on that committee. And I believe that that is of value because board members bring a lot of background knowledge, and it kind of helps the committee stay focused and steers to the issues that are at hand. So.
I'll have to agree with Amy. I think, while it may not be necessary, it may be a good idea if you did have the second board member so that you have 2 people that are on the board and can bring better perspective to whatever issue that we may be discussing in the committee.
I'm lost. Did I start with you?
Yes.
Okay.
I can answer again though if you'd like.
Okay, Joe, this question is actually specific to you. There is a rumor that you have put in a civil litigation against Westbrook. Is this true?
No, it's totally false, and That's just a rumor, and I'm sure that's not the only one going around.
Okay. Okay, this one is directed to everybody. Joe, I'll let you go ahead and start. Do you support term limits for board members?
I do, I'm just not sure what that term limit should be. I kind of feel like if we have term limits, we're gonna be more motivated to get things done quickly, in a quick fashion, instead of putting things off. I'm just not sure exactly what that term limit should be.
I support term limits in theory, but in practice, we have had at times where there would be 3 seats open and only 3 people would be running. 1 or 2 of those would be the current incumbents. So term limits in a community like this is a great idea, but it can be very difficult to implement.
Bob?
Yes, I've always went for anywhere I was that there should be term limits. What that number should be, I couldn't say that it'll have to be determined. But as Amy said, I think our only problem that we have to be careful with term limits, do we have the participation of all our residents enough that they want to become part of this process of running this village?
Not everybody wants to be a board member, not everybody needs or wants to serve on a committee. And as long as we have good qualified residents willing to step forward and run for the board, I don't think we need term limits.
Okay. This question is also to everybody. I'll start with you, Amy. Board members hold fiduciary responsibilities to the HOA. What do you think that means?
Fiduciary responsibility is where you put the interest of the entity, the association, first. You don't interject your own special interests. The community and the association are what comes first in fiduciary responsibility.
Okay, Bob?
Fiduciary responsibility, it's the board's responsibility to make sure that this village stays as beautiful as it is, operates, gives all the amenities, but we must do that in a way that the residents are not taxed. So you have to be careful. You have to discuss, you have to listen, you have to analyze, and with that, make a decision of where we go.
Fiduciary responsibility can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. Being responsible, being on the board, and my opinions don't matter. All of their opinions matter. We're on the board to serve them, not our own selves.
Being a fiduciary is very important to put that other person's best interests in front of everything else. And I'd like to kind of change that question and have it be not just the HOA, but actually residents first. Being a fiduciary for the residents, not the HOA as a corporation. Honest and fair dealing and open transparency is probably the most important thing of being a fiduciary for the residents of the village.
Okay, our next question is directed to everybody also. And I'm going to just paraphrase this one down a little bit. The question came from a homeowner. As a Westbrook Village homeowner, I am proud of our facilities. How do you feel about our facilities being used as public facilities instead of a private facility that we as homeowners pay for?
start?
Do you care who starts?
No, this one, go ahead.
I would say opening up the community to the general public is not why we all live here. What we have to offer our residents, we all pay for. Why would we let someone come into our community and use any of our facilities that don't live here, don't pay their HOA fees, and have a negative impact on our community? I don't get opening up this community to the general public. Having our relatives, kids, grandkids, cousins, aunts, uncles, I'm okay with all of that. But opening up this community to the general public at large, I believe, is a horrendous idea.
Gotcha.
I think it's our community first and foremost. We're the ones that pay to have these great facilities here. And I do think it's unfair that certain organizations are allowed to have events at these facilities and charge money and make a profit, while other organizations that are part of this community are not allowed to do the same. And it is first and foremost our community. But if some organizations are here and it's creating money that we need and it's not being used by us, that can lead down a slippery slope. And we really need to understand, are we hearing that we need money and that's why our fees have gone up to use the facilities for even our family members? Or do we not need the money? And we're not getting all the information. So the facilities are first and foremost to be used and enjoyed by us residents.
I agree with the prior comments that most definitely the public should not be welcomed in unless they're friends or relatives or anything like that. I do want to say that our costs have increased, so it did seem to be following a distinct line of logic to raise our costs in accordance with that. So that's what I would say.
Well, I guess we have to make it unanimous. I agree, but with just a little exception. In the other HOAs I've worked with, sometimes a club or a sporting event or something, you may want to have a one-time event so that it's like a tournament. I don't see any problem with that. But for a daily basis, people from the outside, non-residents coming and using the facilities, I think it's a very bad idea.
Okay. All right, so this question is to all of you, and I will go ahead and start with Amy. Who is willing to keep our community the way it has been, rather than constant attempts to make it like somewhere else?
Wow, well that could be quite a question. If it was going to turn us into the Phoenician, I'm all for it. But I like Westbrook the way it is. I believe it's a charming, neighborhood-oriented community, and our facilities with our budget and whatnot really shine. So I'm proud to be on the board of Westbrook Village.
I agree with Amy. My wife and I moved here from Sun City West because this was the only place we moved to once we made the decision, because we liked it. I was over here many times interfacing with the posse when I was with the Sun City West posse. And I said to her, and she said to me, that is a fantastic community. And I think we should just keep it the way it is. And I enjoy it, and I don't ever want to see it change as long as I have anything to say about it.
All you have to do is just take a drive into the communities that surround ours. and you'll see why living here is a treat. We're 5 minutes away from almost anything you can possibly imagine doing. Eating at a restaurant, going to a movie, going to see a live play. The Broadway Theater is right down the road. We have almost every conceivable activity here. I tell people, if you're gonna move here, you are gonna find plenty to do. There's plenty of activities here to keep us all engaged. And I think for the $795 a year that we pay, it is way past being a bargain.
The running joke at my house when I raised my family just north of Beardsley here was, Mom and Dad are gonna be empty nesters, where are they gonna go? And everybody knew it was Westbrook Village. It's a great community. That being said, there's always room for improvement. There's things going on now that make life so much easier that we can incorporate, like what we're doing tonight, broadcasting this on a recording, so not everybody has to show up at a certain time. Like I said earlier, bringing the communications into this century with community forums, areas of discussion that can be open and clear at any and all times. Those are improvements, as well as facility improvements. Activities change. You know, a lot of things are new sports happen. So I think we can always continue to improve.
Folks, I got here, there's like 7 questions that are asking about the cost of certain projects that were done within our community. And to my knowledge, this is public information, and I don't feel appropriate to put this burden on these candidates, because most of them aren't going to actually know the actual cost of these projects. So I've tabled these aside, and if it's really a concern, you can come to me or Karen. I'll investigate for you if you really need to know. Thank you.
Or Bruce, I'm the treasurer. We have a meeting once a month, Ways and Means. It's held right over here at the admin building. It's open to any resident here. If you want to know the cost of anything, we discuss all business that occurs during the current month. So if you'd like to know the cost of anything, come to Ways and Means meeting. Or send Karen a note. Karen, or actually that would be the best thing to do. Either Karen or Jody. Wherever Jody was here. There she is. Both of them will be able to tell you. None of us are sitting on our binders up here, so anything you would hear number-wise from any of us would be not a guess, but a shot in the dark. How's that?
Yeah.
Okay. So on that same flare, question is, and this is directed to everybody, what will you do to get our finances back on track?
Meaning what?
That's the question. So I'm asking the question to give the candidates the opportunity to give your opinion on the current status of our finances.
Well, real quick, because I'm the treasurer, we're going to transfer $125,000 here, if we haven't already, at the end of the year, into the, I can't think of the word.
Reserve fund.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, and we do not control the economy. The economy, through everybody sitting in this room, including this community, this year, because our documents give us a certain amount of room to move monetarily, there just wasn't enough to slide into next year. We still managed to put $125,000 from the budget in, so our reserves are very strong. We're sitting on, it might be $4.4 million, $4.5 million. This community's in the best shape it's been in monetarily, and I'll tell you, when my wife and I first moved here, they were out of money.
All right, any other candidates would like to address that question?
I think what we really need to do is take a hard look at what the costs really are and get accurate information. The current information that we've been given as a community has changed over the months. So we really need to focus on the accurate information, find out exactly what it is to run these facilities, and question ourselves on the gregarious spending of certain items. There really doesn't need to be certain things that we spend tons and tons of money on if we don't have running our house in order first.
I would like to say that our finances are not as that question leads you to believe. Our finances are fine. We are within what the industry standard says is a viable range, so that a special assessment is unlikely. So I hope you all heard me. A special assessment is unlikely. The reference that's been made a couple of times regarding spending, spending happens in this community within committees, and then it goes through Ways and Means and up to the board. Spending recommendations are made by multiple residents as it works through the committees. Thank you.
I've only been on the board for a couple of months, but I've seen it, and I think we are in good financial. Of course, that's not to say something won't come up that's going to cause a problem, such as the pandemic did a number of years ago. We have to be ready for that, but I think so far this association has done the job and kept this place looking the way it is and spent the money wisely in either fixing something, creating something for a new group of people that like a different type of activity. And I don't see it changing. And hopefully we won't see another pandemic that causes a problem. Thank you.
You know, hang on, Marcy. This community, without borrowing money, if you look outside these windows, that was paid for by our community. This room was remodeled and paid for by our community. The Vistas pool has been completely remodeled and paid for by this community. And I'm not going to argue that point. We did not have to go and get money anywhere. This was all self-funded by all of you, by the budget committee and treasurers before me. And we should all be proud of the fact that we don't have to go borrow money to do major projects here. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Joe, this question is for you, and I think this question came out of your opening statement that you made. The question is, why do you feel that the board is not working for the community?
It's not that I think the board isn't working for the community, I just think the board can do a better job of putting the community first and having a pure service mindset for the community first. There seems to be a lot of interest amongst the board on just passing something because there's an idea to pass something. It's kind of like we now pay more for the punch card. That wasn't a community first thing. There was no town hall. There was no meeting of the minds to put out there to have everybody discuss what it can be. For example, now if my family comes over and we spend 2 hours at the pool, it's going to cost me $50. It used to cost me $10. And I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people this affects negatively. And we were not allowed to have a discussion over time. It seemed that the board wanted to pass it right away. And so it's other items like that that really have me concerned and lead me to make that statement.
This question is directed to all the candidates. What committee chair position are you committing to if you are elected?
That's kind of a redundant question.
Yeah.
I believe we answered that.
Well, no, I think that went to it went a little bit different, but yes. This question's a little bit different. Okay.
Should we answer it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But because the other question went to whether or not, this is asking you personally what committee you would want to potentially be the chairperson of. The other question went to being the chair being a board member and everybody else being a resident. What was the position on that? So if you get elected, what committee would you like to chair? Bob, I'll let you start. Don't say ACC.
Okay, well, I don't, yeah. I was just going to say, I'm sorry we're going to have to say, no, I enjoy working where we're talking about buildings and grounds and the Architectural Control Committee, of course, and the landscape and facilities is in Sun City West. I did lead the Buildings and Grounds Committee, and I enjoy that, trying to make our grounds, our common areas look as beautiful and keep them as beautiful as they are. Sorry, Marcy.
I have served on every committee here except ACC. And thank God Amy takes that over. I'm always willing to serve as the chair of any committee. Right now, I am the chair for the LRP. I'm the treasurer. I'm the chair for the personnel committee. Wherever I think my skill set would be needed, I'm happy to do it.
With my background, I would probably want to create a new committee, and that is one that really allows leadership to the residents as their, maybe a liaison committee dealing with the HOA. Right now, it can be kind of an adversarial thing when you want to add something to your house and we really don't know, where do we go first? What do? We walk in with a paper and fill it out, but we filled it out wrong. Something like that, where there can be some people that help other people deal with the HOA. That would be a great committee. Something to do with facilities management would be really good. I'm not sure if the landscape and the facilities committee is part of that, but facilities management, running all the different commercial aspects we have here, so that it's a more enjoyable experience with each individual.
Well, Marcy, you know what they say about paybacks. Last year at this time, you said you wanted to be chairing the ACC. And I said, that's okay, Marcy. But I love that committee. I enjoyed working with it. I felt that I helped bring a lot of currency and relevance to our individual properties. I think that's a very sacred duty of the board, that we keep an eye on what other communities around us look like, and we step up to that. I also, I wouldn't really take that away from you, Marcy. I also really love the Cornerstone Committee. Thank you.
Okay. Let's see. I'm going to start with you, Bob. If elected, what would you like to accomplish over the next 2 years of your term? And this is for everybody.
Well, I think to me it's quite simple. This is a fantastic community. Beautiful, friendly, plenty of amenities for everybody to enjoy. And my goal is to keep it that way in any way that we can, because this is the place that everybody wants to live.
Go ahead, Steve.
Okay. As a board member, we get a report every month that tells us how many people used everything here. And over the last 4 or 5 years, both the pools have been done. And sitting as the chair of the LRP committee, the next thing on the list is our gym or workout facility or whatever you'd like to call it. That's the next thing that this community has been asking for, and the numbers tell us the amount of people that go through the gym is the 4th highest person usage that we have here. Our 2 pools run neck and neck with the pickleball club. Those 3 always are the top 3, and the 4th item on that list is the gym. And as the chair of the LRP the last 2 years, we have been working feverishly trying to come up with a solution that would be acceptable to the community.
Joe?
I really want to work hard on open transparency to the public and really inviting the public, as I said before, to have a forum with the board. And I really think that what I look forward to is going out and talking with every club, talking at every facility to make sure that if we do a gym, it is what people that use the gym want. The machinery is correct, the layout's correct. I don't think that we should decide on our own what it should look like as board members. I think we even need outside facilitation on people that build these commercial projects to give us their opinion, to make sure, especially when safety is involved, to make sure things aren't done incorrectly. I know a lot of you know we're dealing with slipping tiles at the pool and things like that. That can easily be avoided if we just take the proper protocols and steps in the first place.
Safety is important. One of the things that I have started to work on with Bob and Steve is a public block watch for all 42 of our communities. And throughout the next year or 2, depending on how frequently we can get the police department to work with us and meet with residents, we would like to instill a Black Watch program into every one of your neighborhoods. And I think that speaks to safety. I also spoke to safety all Friday as I wrote a grant for the pickleball groups for their back cushions. So I do feel safety is important. I'd also like to encourage the long-range planning committee to work on the fitness center, but maybe help beef up the medians in phase 2. Thank you.
Steve, we'll start with you. This is a question for all of you. If you could describe your candidacy in one word, what would it be?
One word?
One word.
Exciting.
Service.
Heartfelt.
Dedication.
This is another question to all, and we'll start with you, Joe. What contributions or participation have you made to our community?
Well, with that answer, it's going to be the community of North Peoria. Back when I ran the Little League, we had 450 young kids with nowhere to play ball. So I worked with the city of Peoria when they were building Rio Vista and encouraged them to expedite the building of Paloma Park to the north. So working with the city of Peoria can also be a benefit to us here in the community in Westbrook. For example, our sidewalks are in desperate need of being redone. They need to be widened. The village of Desert Harbor was able to get that done with the help of the city of Peoria. That's going to be one of my main focuses as well. And just providing the service to the community while working with the city to help us out with items that can be helped out is a big thing. Thank you.
Whoever wrote that question, thank you. Because I spend between 20 and 40 hours a week in service to this community. I've done a lot for it. One of the things I'm very proud of is worked with the golf course and implemented and negotiated the water lease program. And that has reduced our landscape water costs considerably, at least 30%, over half of our landscape costs for watering. And that continues to aid a lot of the sub-associations also. I have mentioned in my opening that I designed several of our public places and spaces, and it was a joy. So, anyway, go on. That's it.
Well, my short time here in the village, I've tried to participate in as many things as I can. I know over the last 2 years especially, I've attended many meetings trying to give my input in whatever knowledge I have on what is there. But one thing that I am proud of that I'd love to do is I hope that I have helped make this community a safe community by working with the posse. With my law enforcement background, I figure that is one thing that I can give back to this community. 12.5 years I did it with the Sheriff's Posse of Sun City West, serving as their commander for 2 years. And I was more than happy to join here and continue that. And I work now with our new leadership in the posse to beef it up. We are now getting 3 night shifts out, so you're going to see cars out there at night. And that's what I really enjoyed doing. And now I look forward to serving the community in other ways.
Thank you for that, Bob. Amy, could you repeat the question?
Amy, can you
Could you repeat the question?
That's Marcy.
Oh, sorry.
I know we're interchangeable.
You both have blonde hair. Sometimes it confuses me.
What contributions or participation have you made to our community?
Well, I hate to bring this up, but the Pickleball Club, on our own, we held a number of fundraisers, and raised enough money to pay for the shade structure. That cost this community $0. The other thing that I spent many hours working on was getting the stadium courts rebuilt. That's been done. We have some of the best facilities to play pickleball in any of our surrounding communities. The other thing, and sitting in the audience, I see some members from the LRP. We are working, believe it or not, on upgrading our fitness center. We'll see where we end up with that, but this community never stops. We are always moving forward. That's the only way to keep this place viable.
Okay. All right, this is a question to all of you, and I'm going to start down there with you, Bob, first. Are you willing, time to time, to meet with our residents one-on-one? Are you approachable?
I'm always approachable. I tried to do that in my entire life, and I have no reason to stop now. When I work on the posse and as their commander, I've always met with residents every time they came in and tried to listen to them to see what we can do to maybe help them and solve their problems. I enjoy sometimes sitting with someone and having a discussion over a problem that may exist and trying to figure out a way that we can solve it and make this a better place.
Steve?
Meeting one-on-one with any of you, anytime. anytime. It's anytime any of us as board members can spend even a minute listening to you. You heard me say this before. As a board member, our opinions don't matter. Yours do. You're the important people sitting in this room, not anybody sitting up here. You tell us what you need, and we'll see if we can make it happen.
Okay. Joe?
Most definitely, that is the best way to learn from each other and together move forward with making this village great.
I meet one-on-one with several of you people in the audience. You see me frequently at the Links having coffee, so I do that.
Okay. So reviewing kind of some of the sample questions that we've had and questions from the homeowners here tonight, we think we've pretty much covered most everything. So we're going to go ahead and have you guys do your closing statements. And we will start with you, Bob, for your 2-minute closing statement.
Thank you everyone for coming out and listening to us and asking us questions that you'd like to get the answers for. I look forward to continuing to serve on the board. I was so happy, a little disgruntled about it, but I was so happy to get appointed to the board. But I knew I had big shoes to fill, and I hope I am doing that. And I want to just continue that. I've had a lot of experience, as I outlined in my opening remarks, with HOAs, starting with the very first one I ever served on and creating the first board of directors, and then working on many others, both small sub-associations as well as larger HOAs. And I like the experience I've had in labor relations, because that taught me how to listen, how to discuss, how to compromise. That's how you should act as a leader. And that's what I want to continue to do. And that's the reason why I'm here and asking you for your vote. Thank you.
Steve?
Having served on the Landscape and Facilities, Rec Committee, Ways and Means, Budget Committees, as well as being the chair of the Long Range Planning Committee, I have been involved in a broad range of experience that it takes to keep this community moving forward. Being a part of the Landscape and Facilities Committee gave me a front row seat to see how well our residents, the city, and the state work to conserve our precious commodity of water. While serving on Ways and Means Committee along with the Budget Committee, as well as being the current treasurer, I am able to witness firsthand how well our staff here keeps within a well thought out budget. I have made a strong commitment to the future of Westbrook Village and the direction that takes. I'd be honored to have your vote and to continue to work for you. Please vote for me. Thank you.
Joe?
I look forward to bringing a service first mindset to the board. Promoting the transparency so the confusion of what we do and where we're headed is gone. I want a clear and direct path. I want everybody to be aware of what that path is. And I want to bring a symbiotic team approach to the board and the residents and the HOA management. Give me the opportunity to serve you, and I'll help make the community first and promote all of our interests first and foremost. Thank you.
I want to personally thank the community for voting for me to serve you for several terms on this board. It's been a journey of personal fulfillment and much enjoyment. Westbrook Village has never looked better. We have more work to do, and my extraordinary work ethic is a willing participant. I ask that you extend our success by voting for me and the 2 other incumbents, Steve Merkovich and Bob Canaro. We work very well together. Our plans will deliver unsurpassed homeowner satisfaction. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was cold, Marcy.
Annual meeting, okay. Well, it says closing remarks. All right. I agree.
Sorry about that, Marcy. So that concludes our candidates night for this evening. Thank you all for coming out. We had 78 people in attendance. Again, we're having another candidates forum this Saturday, March 8th at 10 a.m. in the same ballroom. We will have the video up. February, did I say March? Sorry, February 8th in this ballroom at 10 a.m. We will get the video processed and posted. And just as a reminder, very important, our Westbrook Village annual meeting is Wednesday, March 26th at 6 p.m. here in the Lakes Ballroom. Thank you all for coming out and drive safe.